Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And first of all, welcome back. We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Hopefully, you guys had a fantastic holiday, so welcome back to the show. So let's just get into it here today because we got a lot of interesting things that we want to talk about. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, we were off for the past 2 days, just kind of relaxing. God knows we needed it, man. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all almost didn't see me today. I was telling Marco, like, yo, I'm chilling, right? But needed those 2 days off. We're going to take some more days off before the end of the month. But anyway, said we got to bring the content to you guys. Here today. Now, I followed some of the Christmas Day games, was kind of following that, you know, some interesting games. Saw the altercation between Giannis and Jalen Brown and Marcus Smart, and Giannis's brother. I can't pronounce his name. I forgot the pronunciation of his name. And yo, speaking of Giannis, real quick before we get into the crux of this particular show here, I feel like Giannis got to sock one of these dudes in the mouth at a certain point, man. Just let it off, man. Just let it off. These dudes keeps running up and saying this, saying, just sock one of them, take the fine, and go on about your day. Now, some people say that at least you be known for being the cat that these guys ain't gonna run up on and try to act like. Just sock one of them. You know, just forget about the elbows and all of that stuff. Just give them a nice little straight bang to the chin, and they'll get off you. Obviously, I'm kidding, kind of. You know, I get tired of guys yapping off at the mouth, and Giannis looks like he just needs to. But anyway, so that was one of the bits of news. But there was a bit of news yesterday that totally stunned me. I think it was yesterday on Saturday. No, it was yesterday. Just got a notification on my phone, and I open up my Instagram, and I see it's from Adrian Wojnarowski. And basically, the report basically said that Jalen Rose, that James Harden reportedly has a very strong interest in returning back to Houston to play with the Houston Rockets. And the moment I heard that, I was like, do we go live? And I'm like, man, to hell with this, man. I'm relaxing right now. We'll touch on this. We'll touch on this on Monday. But apparently the report is that James Harden has a strong interest in returning to the Houston Rockets. And yesterday, as a matter of fact, they did a segment on NBA, NBA on ESPN or something like that, where they kind of covered the games in between games for the games that were happening on Christmas Day. And they were talking about it. And when it got time for Jalen Rose to talk, he damn near fell out of his chair listening to Adrian Wojnarowski actually explain the story. So what we want to do is we're going to play exactly what Jalen Rose had to say in reaction to the James Harden news, and then we're going to come back and react to this thing. So take a listen to what Jalen Rose had to say here.
Guys, I'm told that James Harden is seriously considering a return to Houston in free agency this July if he does not, if he decides against coming back to Philly on a new deal. And this would be certainly a remarkable turn of events, given it was less than 2 years ago that he asked out of Houston, went to Brooklyn, and then to Philadelphia. But there's been something of a magnetic pull with him in Houston. Houston is flush with salary cap space, a very young rebuilding team that certainly he'd be 34 years old coming back to that team. Listen, there's a lot that's going to happen here in Philly. He has not experienced a deep playoff run in a frenetic city like Philadelphia and what that would mean, but also the possibility of an early exit in the postseason. And I think the unsettling that would create with the Sixers in that city. But I'm told as of now, James Harden absolutely is considering the possibility of returning to Houston in free agency if he does not stay with the Sixers on a new deal. Remember, signed a 2-year, $68 million deal in the offseason, but it includes a player option that puts him right back in free agency this summer.
I was staring at Mr. Rose when you said that initially, and I fear we may need some sort of medical intervention. Are you okay, Jalen?
That was literally a Woj bomb. And so let me get this right. He didn't get the long-term big deal he wanted from Philly, so he may be using Houston as leverage. And when you talk about a long playoff run, that ain't happening if he goes back to Houston. See, one thing about being a great player, you guys know this. At some point, we have to win because we got you. Okay, so he wanted out of Houston. He got to the Nets. That didn't work. Wanted out of the Nets, got to the Sixers. Let's see if it works. That goes against everything Cassidy just interviewed Joel Embiid about. Literally, he said he needs to reinvent his game, which means that either he wants to A, get his money and or be the guy if he leaves Philly.
You know what this is? This is the world as governed by transfer portal. That's where we are now. I don't need to be happy or productive or find any of these goals I've talked about since shooting the basketball on Christmas morning when I got it from under the tree when I was 7. I don't need to do any of that. Let me just go somewhere else. I'm going to be happier over there. Oh, no, I'll be happy over here. There's that, and that's what strikes me first. Second thing is, if I'm the Houston Rockets and I'm serious about winning, why do I want a 34-year-old James Harden with all the talent and cap space and draft capital I have? What do I need James Harden for at this point? James Harden got that close when he was a truly great player and the best scorer of his generation. But why do the Rockets need that now?
So you heard what Jalen Rose had to say there. He believes that it's probably a ploy to, get some team to offer him some more money. But let's just talk about it from an optics standpoint. What would happen if James Harden decided to return to the Houston Rockets? We have to go through the last 2 years with James Harden. Number one, James Harden was in Houston, showed up not in basketball shape, forced his way out of Houston to get to Brooklyn. He gets to Brooklyn, and it was supposed to be scary hours. Now, to his defense, certain things started to happen outside of his control, like the vaccine mandate, all of these different things. He gets there. Ultimately, it's not working out. We start hearing rumblings, rumblings in the background that he wants to reunite with his former general manager in Daryl Morey, who was now the GM with the Philadelphia 76ers. Then, just by coincidentally, Ben Simmons was a disgruntled Philadelphia 76er, which created an opportunity for James Harden now to obviously join the team. He does that. They do a swap. Ben Simmons goes to Brooklyn. James Harden gets to Philly. He gets there. He doesn't really look like himself. Some people say give him an off season. He'll come back. In great shape. He started off the season. I think he started off the first game with this season with a 30-point game. And then I think the most notable win that the Philadelphia 76ers had just recently was against the Clippers that I'm supporting. And James Harden, I believe, had a career high in assists. I believe he had 21 assists in that game. And if you look at his production this season, it's virtually the same as last season, except for a few minor wrinkles. He's scoring virtually the same, 21.8 points per game this year. His shooting field goal percentage went up by 2 percentage points to 43% from 41. 3-point shooting percentage went up from 33 to 37, which is fantastic. Free throw shooting is at 87. Rebounds is about 6.4, but his assists are actually at 11.1, and I'm not actually sure if that's actually leading the NBA. So James Harden is putting up some great individual numbers. No, he's top. James Harden is actually in assists per game. No, he's not. He's not leading. The NBA, but he's one of the high assists. No, I think he might be leading the NBA. Anyway, it's not showing here. But anyway, he's putting up some fantastic numbers this season, and he's doing well for Philly. Now, why is this a surprise? Because James Harden has been bouncing around the NBA for the last few years. And if he were to now leave this team to go back to Houston, it would really bring into question James Harden's priorities. And I think it's a fair point to bring up. What is James Harden infamous for? James Harden is infamous for being one of these guys that has been known to lose very, very big basketball games. And then in that very same night, you'll see him hanging out in a club. James Harden has a reputation for doing this. But because he's an extremely talented basketball player that plays at a very high level, a lot of people just seem to kind of overlook that. But, to Jalen Rose's reaction, he believes that it's a financial ploy. But if you listen to his first gasp when he was like, oh, my goodness, I think if he were to do that, James Harden would probably create more negative press than positive press. But maybe at this point in his career, James Harden probably thinks that he's not going to win an NBA championship and maybe just want to get the most amount of money he can while he's still playing in the NBA. So the question to you guys is simply this. What do you think about Jalen Rose's reaction? And what was your first reaction to hearing about James Harden possibly wanting to returning to Houston? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.